Welcome back to Once Upon a Time in the New Republic, a podcast where we talk about The Mandalorian. And this episode, we're talking about Chapter 8, the last chapter of Season 1. It's all done.
Sad day.
It came and went so fast.
I don't know what to do now.
8 weeks really flew by.
Wow.
I don't know what to do now. Anyway, this chapter is called Redemption. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but anyway. What did we think of it? The Taika Waititi episode. What did we think? Don't everybody fucking yell at once. It seems like everybody hated it. No one wants to say anything.
I was waiting because I heard a...
I was trying to get my thoughts together. I liked the episode. I just thought there were a lot of things that were there for plot convenience.
Really?
Yeah.
More so than in other instances?
Yeah.
Like this is like a standout. Oh, they just did that to further... Really?
Yeah, because the whole thing where the two troopers are waiting on the bike, and that gives IG-11 time to get there.
Oh, no. That was fucking hilarious.
That was hilarious, but I was like... I know exactly what's going to happen.
But
they're waiting.
No, I mean, it kind of made sense. I mean, they were supposed to go out and get the kid, but after that, they were like, well, what do we do now? I don't know. Let's stop and radio in. And the guys, you better just hang on. We don't know what's happening. You better just hold position. Okay. And then you see what those two assholes would be doing while they were out there. I don't know. That didn't seem like plot convenience to me.
Maybe it's just me.
I think it's just you. Because I was like, there have been other instances before in other episodes where it's like, okay, well, why would you do that? Well, it's just to further the plot. But this, I was like, I didn't really see much anything in here that was just there to further the plot. Come on, Jack.
Well, I just thought so because it gave IG-11 just enough time to realize what was going on, get down there, kick their ass, and then the baby was back in their control.
Any other instances, Jack?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to spoil the whole episode, but when they're in
Too bad we're talking about it.
When they're in the cantina and Moff Gideon's monologuing again, why doesn't somebody just shoot him? They can clearly see him. They have a line of sight.
Yeah, it's probably like the 50 stormtroopers.
But there's 60 other dudes with a gun pointed right in the window waiting for you to pop your head out. That's why.
Jack would not survive in combat.
But I mean, if things are really as shaky as they say, would the stormtroopers be like, oh shit, they killed our boss? Like, what, is there a chain of command after Gideon? Like,
I don't know.
I don't know. A stormtrooper punched Baby Yoda. I think they'd just, go ahead and kill
the kid.
Kill everybody after Gideon dies.
That's just how my brain works, I guess.
Okay, Andrew, let's go to you.
Yeah.
I really liked it. I thought it really set us up for I feel like this not so much like an origin story, but like just the season 1 as a whole has just set us up for a really good space western series.
Some good world building type of stuff, situational stuff, and we have characters that are carrying over to season 2.
Because I feel like at the end of this, I feel like this whole season has been the Mandalorian becoming a official badass, an official badass Mandalorian. Because at the end he's got his jetpack, he's got his signet.
That was cool.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, now when we get season 2, this guy's gonna be a rough badass, and
I wonder how much of a time jump there'll be.
Yeah.
Okay, well we'll speculate on that when it's over. Nate?
I really dig this episode.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's the best out of this season, even after watching episode 3. It had that Taika Waititi feel, some comedy as well as some well-timed action.
Well, I was going to say that too, because these all say written by Jon Favreau, but you can't help but think that Taika Waititi had a bit of an influence on this episode.
Right.
I mean, it just... So much of the situation and the stuff like that just plays out perfectly to lend to his style that it's like he had to have sat down with Johnny Favs and been like, okay, well, what about this? And let me just try, we can still say that you wrote the whole thing, but I just need to make a few changes so I can make this flow right. I mean, it had to have been, you know? It definitely... You can get a different feel on some of these episodes to the point where you're like, okay, yeah, Johnny Favs is writing this, but so-and-so had to have some input. There had to be some kind of outside input to make this feel a little different. And it definitely shows in this episode. So, yeah. Anyway, so everybody seemed to like it. There was some you know, some unfounded gripes, but we'll move along. Did you have a gripe about it? You just thought it was great? Okay.
Not that I can really think of.
All right. So, I liked it. I thought it was really good. I thought everything kind of rounded out in a good way, and situations were resolved in a kind of good way. I only have like maybe 2 or 3 little niggly things that I'm kind of like, what? Okay. So anyway, let's just jump into this. Okay. So, before we get started, in the last episode, we sort of hypothesized what we thought might happen in this one. And at first, we were kind of toying with, you know, what if the bad guys get away with Baby Yoda, and then this episode is just the good guys sort of formulating a plan, and they bury Queel, and then they decide that they're going to go off and find him, and then that's going to be season 2. But then it was like, what if IG-11 comes down the ramp and snipes those guys with the pulse rifle? Now, we didn't get any pulse rifle justice, but IG-11 does show up, and he does kick the troopers' asses, and then he does come through the town to rescue everybody and shoot the shit out of everybody, and he does wear Baby Yoda on his chest with a fucking papoose, and then he does rescue them, and he does sacrifice himself in the end, so we kind of nailed it.
And I think the title is referring to Mando because how he feels towards IG-11 when he's like, I must sacrifice myself.
So the redemption is IG-11's redemption?
No, it's Mando's
what
change of heart.
What does Mando have to be redeemed about?
I don't know. I just think that because his character changes like then, because you know he's always like fuck droids, and now he's like, damn, they're not so bad. I guess it's all about the programming, and he's like, damn, I'm gonna lose IG-11. He's a good asset to the team.
I don't know that he's completely changed his opinion on droids as a whole. I think he came around to IG, but anyway, okay. The title confuses me, but anyhow, okay. So the episode starts with those 2 speeder troopers, right? They pull up to just outside the town, and they got little Yoda in a bag.
Did you say one of them was Jason Sudeikis?
Yeah, the guy with Yoda in the bag is Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah.
So they stop outside the town, and they radio in. You know, like I said, they radio in, and like, well, what do we do? And the guy's like, I don't know. You better hold position. Gideon just killed a whole battalion of local guys, and they're like, oh, okay. And then they have this kind of back and forth kind of conversation about, you know, Gideon and this stuff. And I right off the top of my head, I can't recall any specific conversation, but it's pretty clever, and it's funny, and I can't help but think that Jason Sudeikis and Taika Waititi sat down and kind of went through that shit themselves, because it definitely has that sort of stylistic feel. So they're both like, well, what the hell are we supposed to... Now, the other guy is, God, what's his name?
Adam
Something Pally? Yeah. And I don't really know him. He must be a TV guy, because I don't really know who he is. Apparently, he has like a bit part in Iron Man 3, which is a Johnny Favs connection, so... But I don't know. So they're just kind of hanging out, you know, and he's like, well, I want to look at it. You got to look at it, and I didn't get to see it. He's like, shut up, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, by looking at it, you mean picking it up and shoving it in the bag.
And when Yoda makes a noise, old Sudeikis punches the bag. Sudeikis punches the bag twice, and the other guy punches the bag once. But to be fair, little Yoda does bite that guy's finger.
Yeah.
So,
A little shit.
So they're sitting there, and one of them is like bored, and he can't look at the Yodi, so he's like, well, fuck. He starts trying to shoot, like, it looked like a can, but it had like some strings on it.
That was pretty.
So
funny.
the guy starts trying to shoot it, and he can't.
Yeah.
And old Sudeikis is like, no, and he pulls his gun out, and he can't shoot it. And he like holds it up to his head and he shakes it and it's got like a rattle.
Like fucking stormtroopers.
Yeah.
I wasn't a stormtrooper, wise ass.
Yeah. So FYI, the internet is calling for the execution of Jason Sudeikis because he punched Baby Yoda.
The actor?
Yeah. Oh my God. Twitter is just destroying. Like somebody said, I have information that could lead to the arrest of Jason Sudeikis and Adam Pally, and it's just a video of the scene.
Wow.
Jason Sudeikis, this will be great for my career. 2 seconds after the credits rolled, everyone, and it's just like a gif of somebody slitting their throat. Yeah, and then my other favorite one, good morning to everyone except Jason Sudeikis.
Damn.
It's like,
Damn.
shit.
Damn. That's what you get for punching a stuffed bag. Okay, so the other guy, the Scout Trooper 2, says, well, it hasn't moved in a minute. I think we should check on it. And so he opens it up, and he sticks his finger down there, and little Yodi bites his finger. That's right about the time that IG-11 turns up. Okay, so they're like, hey, you need to fuck off. And he's like, no, I'm this infant's nurse droid or some shit. And they're like, well, I thought all IGs were hunters. Well, this one's a nurse or some shit like that. And
Well, not me.
yeah. So IG commences to kicking their asses, and he smashes the one dude's face into the speeder bike and shit. That was me.
Oh, okay.
Making the
Gotcha.
my motor's running. So he hops on the other speeder bike, and little Yodi's there in the bag. And he takes off towards the town, and then we get the title comes up, okay? So then we transition back to the Space Shonies and the middle of the standoff, right?
Well, this is Space Shonies 2.
Space
Hold on.
Shonies, so this is the Space Applebee's?
Yeah, the
Space Apple.
I was going to say different franchise, different
Okay,
owner.
so
Space Waffle House.
Carl Weathers used to hang out in the Space Shonies, but this is a Werner Herzog's place, so it's a little higher class, so the Space Applebee's.
Yeah. 2 for $20, bro.
So they're still trying to figure out what the fuck they're gonna do, and
wings.
so they get the bright idea that maybe I think they said, is there a back door or something? And Apollo Creed's like, well, no, that's the only way out. Okay, and this becomes important later. Okay, he's like, that's the only way out, that door, right? Okay, so they're like, well, what about a sewer, right? So Mando uses his predator vision, and he scans, and he's like, I'm looking. In the meantime, the stormtroopers are outside with their flight cases, and they open them up, and they're putting together this fucking machine gun turret. Now, is this the same kind of thing that was in the first episode outside of that little Westworld village?
I don't believe so, because he
Okay.
made a huge deal about this one. And
Right.
Like this.
I mean,
is
it mounts
special.
on a thing and all that stuff, but it's a different kind of gun.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I
could-
personally would think
I
so.
could go back and look, but I mean, I'm
Gideon did make a huge deal.
Yeah,
about it.
it's called an e-web. I don't know what the fuck that's
It probably,
supposed to mean.
I'm sure if we really wanted to Google it, we'd find it.
But apparently, it's powered by a plastic bin connected by a vacuum hose. Okay, that's what it looked like to me, anyway. Anyone who's worked in a chemical plant and has ever had to hook together some sort of solid connection knows that guy took a vacuum hose and just touched a box with it because nothing was secure there.
You know what that box had, though?
Explosive power.
Oh, no, I was going to say fucking buttons and lights.
Oh, of course it did.
It's Star Wars, man.
Okay, so they find the sewer, and they move a couple of booths out of the way, and they can't get it open, right? And Mando's like, oh, I don't have any charges. I'm out of bombs, okay? So Kara's like, get the fuck out of the way, and she takes her damn machine gun, and she starts blasting it, but it doesn't do any good either, okay? So this is about the time that Gideon starts his I've got you right where I want you kind of speech, okay?
He starts monologuing.
For
So
real.
so we
Happens
don't
again.
so we don't know if at some point Gideon's made aware that those two troopers were dealt with and they lost Baby Yoda.
I think that
I
think they attempted to notify him, but he's just like such a dick that, because remember the second call that the stormtroopers, like, you know, he was like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and check in, and the guy on the comm link was like, Well, it's probably going to be a while because he just shot an officer that attempted to interrupt him.
No. But that's while those 2 troopers were still alive.
Right.
I'm talking after that. IG kicks their asses and takes Baby Yoda.
Right.
So until IG shows up with Baby Yoda, Gideon's none the wiser, right? He has no idea.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but I'm just wondering why he's giving them so much time. And if he thinks that the troopers have the baby,
plot convenience.
what the fuck does he need these guys for? Why doesn't he just kill them? What is he like? What is his bargain thing where he's like, I'm going to give you till sundown? And why?
I don't think he knows that the troopers had possession of Baby Yoda because, you know, he did during his monologue, he was like, you know, you can't trust me. However, you know, right now my interests rely on your cooperation. So.
I don't know. I don't know.
Plot convenience.
I will say
Shut
though,
up.
I loved the monologue.
The monologue is great, yeah.
I love this villain. I think he's so
He's
cool.
a little calm for me.
Well, yeah, you've seen Breaking Bad, right?
Yeah, but
He's very
just-
Gustavo
I
Fring.
would have liked it if he, you know, had been a little more animated or something.
but this dude, I forget his name, but he is great at just playing like a fucking deadpan villain.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah.
So as he's talking to these guys about negotiating and shit like that, let me see if I may. Okay, that's later. All right. Okay. So he calls them all out by name, and he says Cara Cynthia Dune of Alderaan. So I guess she really does hate the Imperials then.
I was gonna say that's probably why she was so you son of a
Son of a
bitch. I'm
I'm
in.
in. Fuck those Imperials.
Destroyed my planet.
So he knows who she is, and then he reveals the Mandalorian's name. So now that you've seen the episode, you're cool with me saying it.
Oh, yeah.
So his name's Din Djarin. Now I've seen that spelled 100 different ways so far.
Yeah.
I need to wait for something official to show how it's spelled, but
I bet the subtitles would.
yeah,
show
maybe.
it. Yeah.
And then he calls out Apollo Creed too, saying that he knows who all of them are.
You fought with Rocky. We know your story.
So, but it's cool. While he's talking, we get this sort of subtle dolly zoom going, and it's almost at first you don't really notice it, and then they kind of just do it, and it's like, oh wow, that was pretty cool. And it's just very subtle. It's not, you know, most of the time a dolly zoom is an in your face overkill kind of thing, but this one was just.
I thought that was amazing.
It
That
was
whole
really,
shot.
it was really tasty, man. It was just kind of a neat little thing.
That shot
I bet
was awesome.
I bet they wanted just a sky behind him, and they were doing the movement, and it kept capturing the building behind him. So they were like, "Well, what the hell do we?"
No, I think it was intentional. I don't think it was in the moment. Well, let's do this. No, it was 100% intentional, dude.
Dude, I feel like just kind of pause sidetrack. I really think it's funny because like you guys are like pointing out all of like the cinematic stuff, and I'm the one over here like, well, technically in Star Wars Episode 3, we get the sense that
Well,
And I do that.
anyway.
I love the shot right after the dolly zoom, the silhouette shot.
Okay. So at the end of this speech, what else do you want to say about it?
Nah, I'm just saying.
which silhouette shot.
What exactly silhouette shot
Gideon?
was it?
It was the low angle, like right after the dolly zoom,
Yeah.
when his head like eclipsed the sun, and I'm like, oh shit, yeah, he's gonna be our BBEG for all of season 2. He's not gonna die for a good long while.
Do you think he'll just be like a villain for season 2, or do you think this could like be the whole premise of
It depends if somebody's above him. I mean, we ultimately know that he contracted Werner Herzog to find the kid through whatever means he deemed necessary. But now we know why Werner Herzog wanted the kid, but we still don't know why Gideon wants the kid.
Right.
So it could be for his own ends, or there could be somebody above him.
I have a speculation, but I'll save that for the end.
Is it a speculation you can just bring up at the end, or does it relate so much to this monologue that you feel like you need to drop,
Oh no,
drop it right now? Okay.
it doesn't. Yeah.
Okay. So at the end of this little speech where he calls them all by name and they says they know their background, he says, "I'm going to give you till nightfall, and then I'm gonna fire up the E-Web and we're gonna melt this building. Okay, you guys are gonna be fucked." So I still don't understand why he's giving them so much time to give up. What the fuck does he want them for? I mean, I don't know. And when he says, I'll give you till nightfall, that gives him time to go back over and be like, okay, radio guy, do they have the baby? Are we good? What, you know, and we never know if he finds anything out, right? So at this point, they're like, well, what the fuck are we going to do? Actually, I think in there somewhere, Mando says, you know, because he knows my name, and he reveals a little bit of Gideon's backstory. But I didn't jot any of those specifics down. That may tie into some battle or some shit somewhere. Because Gideon mentioned something about the Battle of 1,000 Tears or something. And I don't know if that ties into some Clone Wars, Mandalore kind of vibe. Something that was mentioned in the past. I have no idea.
It's been a while.
It's been a long time since I watched. But he says Battle of 1,000 Tears. And I'm like, okay, that's probably been mentioned somewhere before. But I don't... right offhand where?
I don't think so either. I don't think it would have happened during the Clone Wars because this whole time they're talking about the Empire purge of Mandalore, which, you know, would have to be after Episode 3, so not Clone Wars. Maybe Rebels. I still haven't made it through all of Rebels, but... Okay,
well, anyway, after he says, I'll give you till nightfall and shit, we get a conversation amongst the three heroes in the Applebee's. Cara wants to shoot her way out. She's like, fuck this. I'm not getting captured. And she starts picking up guns off the floor and shit. She's taking all the guns. But Mando's like, oh, I know who it is. That's got to be fucking Gideon. And they're like, no. And Cara's like, no, you fucking... And he's like, no, he knows my name. And the only way somebody would know my name, blah, 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 blah. And he goes through this thing. And somehow... Apollo Creed jumps in and is like something about, well, yeah, but you're Mandalorian, and he's like,
I wasn't born a Mandalorian.
I wasn't born a Mandalorian, and she's like, yeah, Mandalorians aren't a race, it's a creed or something like, or philosophy or some shit like that. And that's when we get
and cue flashback.
And that's when we get our entire flashback that we've had pieces of. We get the whole fucking thing. So it's just like we thought, okay? You know, his parents are running, the city's being overrun by battle droids and all this stuff, and they put him down in the little cellar.
Gotta say,
close the doors,
that is
and they get blown up.
Calm kid for what the fuck is happening. He's just like, oh.
You ever seen somebody in shock, Jack?
No, I haven't actually.
Okay, so
it's weird. It's pretty fucking
weird.
It's just like that, actually.
So they put him down in the little tornado shelter in Kansas, and they close the doors. And a bomb goes off, so I guess we're supposed to assume that his parents got blown up. And then a big super battle droid comes over and opens the door, and it's about to shoot him. And then a bunch of blue Mandalorians show up, and they blow these guys away. And the Mandalorian, there's this cool guitar kind of part that kicks in.
I loved that.
And
that was so badass.
And the Mandalorian guy reaches down, and the kid reaches up, and he picks him up, and he flies off with him with his jetpack. Okay? Kid rescued.
Thought they were gonna get their Jango Fett moment or Boba Fett moment or whatever because he was in shadow and then he like came in and blue and I was like, what do you?
That wouldn't have been Boba Fett.
Does that stand raise up, Scott?
No.
Okay.
No. Why?
Talk into the mic.
I am talking into
there
the
you
mic.
go. Now you are.
Now it sounds like you're talking into the mic. You're talking like this.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
So now if you talk into the mic, we can hear you.
Gotcha.
And don't open your chocolates in front of the mic either.
I was under the table.
So anyway, we come out of that flashback. Okay, so the last scene of that flashback, all right, is the kid's face over the shoulder of the Mandalorian with the jetpack on that's flying him away. That becomes important later. Okay, so we go back to the bar and here's an interesting thing that this is probably just me. And this may be like a weird prop thing, or maybe it's a lighting thing or something, but Apollo Creed's been next to the bar the whole time, and there's a bottle of that fucking shrimp vodka on the bar. Now, you see it like 3 or 4 times in different little positions, and he takes a swig of it at one point, but like the first time you see that, it doesn't really look like it has much glow to it. But then by the last time you see it, it's kind of it has a substantial glow, and I was like, okay, is that just me? So was the glow achieved by maybe an external lighting that was working in some shots and wasn't working? Or is it something inside that is working or isn't, or battery issue or something? I don't know. It just looked to me really, the glow on that shrimp vodka looked really inconsistent.
It wasn't fermented long enough.
I guess. So I guess Mando tries the comlink, and he's still trying to get Queel. They don't know that he's dead yet. And that's when IG cuts in. Well, actually, I think you hear Baby Yoda cackling, on the comlink, and then IG comes on, and he's like,
Queel is terminated.
He's like, Queel's dead, and immediately Mando's like, what the fuck did you do? And he's like, I'm protecting the kid, and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to nurse the kid, and I'm supposed to protect.
Yeah. I thought that was so badass when he's like, Mando says something like, that's not, your prime directive is like to kill. And he's like, no, my prime directive is to nurse and protect, and then just pulls the fucking blasters out and goes to town.
So he comes into town, and he just starts shooting everybody. And little Yogi in the papoose is like, woohoo!
Death and destruction.
Yeah, he's so digging it. All the carnage, man. He is all about it.
Baby Yoda's going to turn out to be a Sith.
Hell yeah.
Well, we hang on now.
Yeah, we'll wait till the end.
So IG shoots his way down the streets, and he's blowing up stormtroopers and shit, and he finally gets to the restaurant, and he jumps off of the speeder bike, and I think it crashes into something.
It explodes.
Yeah.
So our heroes inside notice all the commotion, and they all start to come out shooting, except Cara jumps up on the bar, and she's shooting through the window. But Mando and Apollo Creed come outside, and they're fighting.
I think that's where Apollo Creed started doing shots. He was like, oh, and he did a couple shots before he went out.
Yeah, before he went out. They're shooting, and they're punching, and they're doing all kinds of shit, and Cara's inside going... So you get this sort of action-y montage, right? And IG's shooting shit, and everybody's fighting and all this stuff.
Mando beating the shit out of stormtroopers.
So a death trooper, goes over to a closed door and puts a bomb on it.
The same bomb that they used in Rogue One.
Now, this is the door to the Space Applebee's, all right? And they said there's only one way out. So I'm assuming this is the only door, okay? So they blow the door off the hinges. You see the door go into the thing, and so there's no more door. So
Cara gets knocked
so
down.
these two, so she gets knocked off the bar, and two death troopers go in. But she does manage to shoot them, okay? And this is all about the same time that Mando picks up the E-Web. I don't know why he didn't just spin it on the turret. He had to rip it off the turret. What?
I mean, it was only held by a vacuum hose.
So I found something about the E-Web, like an article. It actually has a name, but I can't remember it right now.
Well, fuck.
But but in this article, it said impossible to hold by hand.
Yeah, well, that's just that cool, man.
Maybe the tripod head was locked.
Yeah, he's just that cool. So the door blows in, and Cara gets knocked off, and she shoots the death troopers. Mando is shooting the E-Web right about the time that Gideon across the compound there pulls out his sidearm and aims down on Mando and shoots him in the head. And so Mando turns around, and he's about to shoot him with the E-Web, and old Gideon shoots the vacuum box,
pulls the Captain Marvel,
and blows that shit up, and that fucks up Mando pretty good. Okay, so I'm trying to think if IG picks him up or if Cara runs out there.
It's Cara.
Okay, she runs out there and picks him up, and then they all retreat back into the trap of the Applebee's with one exit, right?
With a door
so they
that
go through the door
closes.
and they close it. Now, I thought the Death Troopers blew the door off.
Yeah, it was still on the hinge too, because it goes.
No, it wasn't. Because
it just
you
comes out of
see
the
in
wall.
The explosion the two pieces of the doors.
Yeah, but when they go
so
in,
then
they're
they
able
go
to close
in
the door.
and they close the door, and I was like,
it's an emergency door.
that's the same fucking door, right?
It's like a robbery door,
Except there's only one way in and out.
Maybe there's an inner door and an outer door.
Blast door and a regular door, I guess. There's a screen door and a main door.
Yeah.
Okay. They blew off the screen door, and this is the for real Super blast door. Okay. Okay, so they're stuck back in the fucking Shonies. And then we get... that
was a bust.
IG is going to cut through the grate because he's got a plasma cutter in his fist, right? And and Carl Weathers is like, man, I love me some IG droids.
Yeah, and IG's like, if you touch the child, I have to kill you.
Have to kill you. So we get a couple of back and forths between Cara and Mando of, stay with me, I'm not going to make it. Stay with me, I'm not going to make it.
Take the kid.
So
at this point in the episode, I was like thinking like, okay, one of them is like going to die. And I was like, it's not going to be Mando.
Yeah, it can't be Mando.
But if it's... I was like, if it's Cara Dune, I was gonna text you and be like, I'm so sorry.
Sorry for your loss, man.
So she's like, I gotta take your helmet off to treat you, and he's like, no, I'm not gonna make it. And she's like, but I gotta help you, and he's like, I'm not gonna make it. And you know, so he gives her the little skull, his little mythosaur skull pendant, and he's like, find the Mandalorians, tell them I sent you, and that the baby was in my care, because I'm not gonna make it. And she takes it. And she's like, you know, you're not gonna die. He's like, no, what is it? She's like, I won't leave. Oh, he's like, I'll stay here and cover your escape. And she's like, no, I won't leave you. And he goes, this is the way, because I'm not gonna make it. She says, stay with me. And he goes, I'm not gonna make it. So. So there's this fucking flame trooper guy. That's all I'm calling him, a flame trooper. He's a stormtrooper. He's got red decals on, and he's walking in slow-mo down the street with this big thing on his shoulder.
Thought he was pretty badass.
And he shoots some flame through the window from the outside just to kind of get everything started on fire. Yeah, but then
nice warning shots.
But then as the stay with me, I'm not gonna make it exchange is going on, he walks through the door, right? And I guess he's gonna go ahead and.
Now, did he have to blow the door off, or did he just walk through?
It was just open.
Through the door. Walk through a doorway.
Yeah. This flame trooper can only walk in slow mo.
So, so he walks in and he's pointing this thing at him and he's bearing down on all of them, and they all turn and look at him. Nobody's got a gun anymore, or else they're out of ammo, because everybody just sits there like, I guess we're fucked now, boys.
You're not going to make it.
Nobody has it done. And now we're all not going to make it.
Well, shit.
So, nobody decides to shoot. So, Lil Yodi decides to put up a shield, okay? And this guy's blasting him, and it does nothing. And I guess he kind of pushes it a little bit, so it blasts the flame trooper back. And then when that guy is clearly dead, Lil Yodi puts his hands down and goes to sleep. Whew, that took it out of me. I'm done.
See, I thought something was gonna happen to Mando, because I knew it was either A, Yoda only had one choice, Baby Yoda only had one choice: A, save everybody, or B.
Wait. Are we going to talk about Rise of Skywalker?
Well, he already used the Force Seal on Carl Weathers.
Yeah, but I feel like you were about to go somewhere that I speculated.
No, I was just gonna say I know Baby Yoda's only got enough power to do one thing, it seems. So I knew it was either save everybody or save Mando.
I think when he does a big thing, it wears him out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So, and I knew both were going to be big things, so it was either one or the other. It was like a Star Trek, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
No, I think you're reading too much into it. He's just a little kid, man. He saw the threat come in the door, and he decided to save his friends. That's what he did. Yeah,
but I mean, I feel like he also had the look on his face to be like, I want to save Mando too, but
really, he had a look on his face that said he wanted to save Mando.
He's a puppet, Jack. He can't emote.
When they designed the puppet, that's what they had in mind. Let's give him a face that says, I want to save Mando.
So,
you're wrong, Jack.
So, by this time, IG gets the grate open, okay? And Mando's like, no, you take him. You take the kid. And, now see, this was kind of weird, where, Kara and Apollo Creed are going to take the kid and go down in the sewer, and IG is going to stay with Mando. Why? Why does IG decide to stay with Mando? Isn't his first priority to protect the kid?
I think that he's
just covering the escape.
No, I think. Well,
he thinks
maybe
it'd give them a better chance to get the kid to safety if he stays behind.
Well, I think that he knew that Mando is like his primary caretaker. Yeah. So I think, in his programming, maybe he was thinking, if I save Mando, the kid will have better protection.
Okay, so Kara and Apollo Creed take the kid into the sewer, and IG stays with Mando. So once they're gone, Mando's like, okay, get it over with. And IG's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, just go ahead and finish me off because, I don't want the imps to kill me or whatever. And he's like, I can't kill you. I'm a nurse. And he's like, fuck you. You're a fucking hunter bounty droid, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, nope, not anymore, baby. So he's like, in order to treat you, I got to take your helmet off. And he's like, no, you can't take my helmet off because no living thing has seen me since I was like 12. And he goes, well, I'm not alive, so it's not forbidden and I can save you. So he takes his helmet off because he says, I'm not a living thing. So he takes his helmet off and he sprays some first aid ointment on his head.
A Bacta infusion.
And he says, you've sustained damage to your central processing unit. And Mando goes, what, you mean my brain? And he goes, that was a joke. It's supposed to lighten the mood. So, anyway. So,
we finally got to see Pedro.
So we cut to, he looked a little worse for wear, but, okay.
He finally got some screen time.
So, he was there for one day. So we see Kara and Apollo Creed in the sewer, and they hear a noise, and immediately IG and Mando have caught up to them. Okay, that was kind of silly, but anyway, I guess they had to piss off so he could take the helmet off, and then now they're all back together. So Kara's like, here, take the baby. I got you, Mando. She wants to carry her man.
Her Mando.
So they're looking for the Mandalorians down there, and Apollo's like, well, you know where it is, right? And he's like, well, no, I never came this way. I only ever came in through the front door. So they're like, fuck. So they have to look around and shit. And after a few minutes, I guess the Bacta starts to work because he's like, oh yeah, I can walk. Oh no, I'm fine now. So he's like, I think we're close. Let's go this way. So they go around a corner and they find this big pile of Mandalorian armor. Okay. So Mando is, feeling like shit, and he starts to turns around and immediately blames Carl Weathers. He's like, because when he left, the Mandalorians were fighting the bounty hunters. And he's like, what the fuck, man? Did you do this? And, and he's like, no, as soon as you left, we all scattered because that's how it goes, man. We're just getting paid, And they're kind of arguing about shit, but then the Mandalorian Galadriel, the armorer chick, comes out, and she's like, no, this is just what happened when the Imperials showed up. So I'm guessing the Mandalorians kept fighting when the Imperials showed up, and I guess a bunch of them got killed, but some of them might have got away. I thought at first that they all just ditched their armor and left to like blend in and get away, but apparently that would not be acceptable. So I'm guessing that's armor from all a bunch of motherfuckers who are dead. Right? Is that what we're going to say?
Yeah.
They're all dead.
That's the impression I got.
Okay, so they're all dead. Maybe some got away, but probably not. I don't know. So she's there trying to salvage what she can. So, they go into the little armory room, and she's melting shit down, and so she wants to see whoever this person is that everybody got sacrificed for. So they show her little Yodi, and they tell her what he can do and stuff, and she puts together that he's kind of a Jedi type. He can use the Force and shit. And she says, he's not an enemy of ours, but they fought the Jedi in the past. So she's like, Mando's like, what? So he's like our enemy? And she's like, no, not this one. The ones in the past were, but this one's a foundling, okay? And he's in your care. So you're going to have to, and he's really young and shit, so you're going to have to reunite him with his own kind. And Mando's like, what the fuck, man? You want me to take him and dump him off with a bunch of evil space wizards who are our enemy? And she's like, no. And she's like, this is the way, motherfucker. So he's like, God damn it. So she's like, you guys are going to have to go down to the river and escape. And until that time, that you can reunite him, you're basically his father. Okay.
You're going to train him.
So this was the official paper signing. He is now
the adoption papers.
Yes, he is now officially Yodi's stepdad or a foster father or whatever you want to call it. So she puts the 2 to 2 together about Yodi and the Mudhorn and all that stuff, and she gives him his signet, which is a little Mudhorn signet. Okay, and she says, I thought I wrote it down. Where is it? Yeah, okay. After she gives him the Mudhorn signet, she says, you're now a clan of 2. So in the Mandalorian Mudhorn clan, it's our Mando, and now Baby Yoda is a Mandalorian in training, I guess. So it'll be interesting to see what his helmet looks like.
His ears will be popping out the side.
I think at this point there's a funny little thing where somebody hands Baby Yoda to Cara, and she's like, "Whoa, I don't do the baby thing. I don't want to hold him." But
she had no problem holding him before.
Yeah,
Mando's kid.
But
circumstances,
So at this point, she asks him if he had been trained in the Rising Phoenix, and he says, "Yeah, when I was a boy." And she says, "Cool, here's your jetpack, baby."
Yeah.
So he finally gets the jetpack. And she makes it sound, she's like, well, when you're ready, you'll train with it, and it won't listen to you until you know what the fuck, and won't be able to interpret your commands and shit until you train and stuff. But when you're ready, you can do it, which is weird because later on he just slaps that bitch on and he jumps into
fucking
action.
Natural.
Yeah. So they leave. They go to head to the lava river, okay? And she stays behind to do her work or whatever. So we see a bunch of stormtroopers going through the sewer, and they find her, and she's like kneeling down praying or whatever or something. She's got her fucking hammer and her damn tongs in her hand and shit. And these guys walk in there, and I don't know if they think she's a statue or something. They walk up to her. Doesn't one of them poke her in the head or something?
Yeah.
He pokes her in the head with his rifle.
Where are they at?
Yeah.
I said, tell us where they're at.
So then she commences to kicking all their asses thoroughly. I mean, she's like smashing dudes' faces in and shit.
Dude,
and she throws that one guy into the smelter.
That was so awesome.
Yes.
And he just went straight in like a fucking wood chipper.
He just liquefied, man.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Liquefied troop.
So she lives, okay? We don't know about like Heavy Mando with the minigun. That was Jon Favreau Mando. We don't know about him or maybe any of the others, but she definitely lives. Okay, so
she'll be back in season 2.
Maybe we see her in season 2. Maybe, I don't know.
Making Yoda's armor.
Yeah, somebody's got to make Yoda's armor. So they get down to the river, and there's this little skiff type, raft type boat thing. And it looks like it's kind of welded to the dock, and there's that R2 unit in it that's all kind of encased in like charcoal and shit. And they're like, well, the droid looks fried, so let's try to push this boat out on the river, and it'll float. So Mando and Apollo Creed are trying to push it, and they're getting poles for leverage and shit. And Cara just gets this look on her face where she's like, "You fuck, get out of the way!" And she just shoots that fucker, and it breaks free.
That gun.
And it breaks free. So like, oh wow, cool, good job. So
watch her steps. That says molten lava.
Yeah, so they get on. And IG is like, yeah. Hey, watch your step. It is molten lava after all. He's such a... I guess that's the whole nurse thing. Hey,
he's
everybody.
Charming.
Hey, everybody, be careful. Watch your step.
He's the mom of the group.
It's molten
Mother
lava.
hen protocol activated.
Did
Right.
everyone eat lunch?
So they get in the boat, and they're heading down. And I guess the R2 unit kicks on, right? So it's not broken. But it has the super cool basketball team accessory pack to where it's got arms and these fucking legs, and it stands up and shit.
It's like 7 feet tall.
Yeah, it's fucking big, man.
The Shaquille O'Neal R2 unit.
Yeah. So So
I want to go.
So they tell it that they want to go downriver, and it starts. It's a Venice gondola type deal, right?
When the light hits the eye like a giant sarlacc pie.
Was it like playing?
Navarro.
Was it like whistling some music while it was going down?
No, Jack. No, it was not whistling.
It should have been.
It kept like beeping every so often. Though.
It's an R2 unit, Jack. Have you seen Star Wars?
Yes, I've seen Star Wars, but
Okay.
nobody was really talking to it. But it would go.
So
Oh, also, Mando's like, does anyone here speak droid? It's like, there's a fucking
About the droid.
Yeah.
we as they're riding down the lava river, we get a couple shots of these little like black rats or hairless cats or something scurrying along the shore, and that,
Womp rats.
well, that never turned into anything. But I was like, oh, is this significant? Are they gonna get attacked by a horde of these? No, it was just an aesthetic thing, I guess. It's like, guys, we've got some extra money. If anybody wants to work overtime this weekend, how about animating us some black cats? Cool, yeah.
Some monkey lizards.
Yeah, the monkey lizards or something. So they just threw that in there for texture, I guess. So they look like they're about to get to the end of the tunnel, and Mando uses his predator vision again, and he's like, "Oh no, there's a bunch of fucking dudes there." So Kara's like, "Hey, try to stop the droid. Hey, stop. We don't, blah blah blah." So he won't stop. So she just shoots him in the head. And so they formulate this plan. Okay, there's a whole lot said here. There's a whole lot said here with Taika Waititi that I didn't write down, and I really thought I should probably detail this conversation because it's really well written and shit, where he reasons that there's no, his prime directive is to take care of Yodi, but his secondary protocols are like the manufacturer things where, as we know, he can't be captured. He has to self-destruct because an IG unit can't fall into somebody's hands, okay, because their design is all secret and shit like that. So he goes through this thing where he says, like, there's no scenario where the child is safe and I live, okay, or some shit like that. And this is where Mando's kind of like, no, but you'll die, you can't, blah blah or whatever, and IG's like, if you tell me that the child will be safe with you, then I can fulfill my secondary protocol or something, So he hops out the boat, or he does the little he touches little Yodi's ear like to say goodbye, but he doesn't say goodbye. But
I'll be right here.
And he does his turn.
The E.T.
I'll be right.
Yeah. Okay. But so he hops off the boat,
Does this Terminator thing.
and he's walking through the lava.
Yeah, that just like Terminator, man.
To the end of the thing, right? So,
I did like how there was the little moment where IG was like, "I've analyzed your voice. You're sad."
right.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot in there, where all that kind of stuff.
There's
so
nothing to be sad about.
Yeah.
yeah. I'm not a living thing. So he walks to the end, and you see all the stormtroopers there, and he's talking while he walks out there. He says something like,
I cannot be captured. Kaboom!
He's like, oh, my protocols have come in, and I cannot be captured. So here's a thermal detonator.
Eat shit, fuckers.
So
Merry
he blows
Christmas.
up and blows the fuck out of all those guys.
I was gonna say, in stereotypical fucking stormtroopers, they all just lower their blasters and they're like, huh?
Yeah, what?
Instead of like
What's
shooting him in the
that?
head
Yeah.
or anything like that, they
Right.
would just like shiny light.
Flashing lights.
So, okay. So the boat makes it to the end of the tunnel, and everybody's dead. Okay. And this is right about the time that they see this TIE fighter start to come in. Okay. So, in typical Imperial fashion, Gideon's flying this thing, and in typical Imperial fashion, he guns down on him and he starts shooting, and he completely misses them. So he swoops around, and they're like, he won't miss again. So I guess maybe he has to get a targeting frame the first time, and then the second time it'll be useful.
He didn't have his targeting computer on the first
I
time.
guess.
When did IG give Mando the backpack? Because IG was holding the jetpack for Mando.
He put it down. He said,
he
He
just
says, I
no
can't hold this
longer.
for you
Yeah.
anymore. He just sets it down.
Yeah, he just sets it in the middle of the boat.
Okay.
So so Gideon shoots at him, and he misses, and he's gonna come back around for another pass, and there's like, he won't miss again. And Kara says, yeah, these blasters are useless. Why?
That armor's too strong for blasters.
Damn right. That armor's too strong for blasters. So, Carl Weathers says, well, just make the baby do the magic hand thing. Come on, baby, do the magic hand. And he waves his hand at Yoda, and Yoda waves back, and it's like, fuck.
Well, I'm out of ideas.
Yeah, I'm out of ideas. And Mando says, well, I'm not. And he slips his backpack on over his head, and he goes a beep 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 on his little gauntlet thing, and his rockets fire up. And as Gideon comes over and misses again, Mando shoots up and grapples to the TIE fighter, which is the shot I showed you guys like 4 episodes ago, and I was like, oh, okay. But when I looked in that shot, it didn't look like he had a jetpack on. But anyway.
They could have edited it out.
Maybe. So he jumps up and grapples onto it and gets onto the roof of the TIE fighter. And he starts trying to shoot through the canopy, and it just doesn't work. So the armorer let him replenish his munitions, so now he's got some more charges on his belt. So he's gonna slap one of these charges on the TIE fighter, and Gideon does this spin thing, and he drops one, and it blows up behind him. So then he's out, and now he's not on top anymore. He's on the wing, and he gets one out, and he manages to slap it on there, and then he kind of jumps off and fires his jetpack type thing, and about this time, I guess Gideon's sensors pick up the bomb, and he's like, "Oh shit!" and kaboom! So it blows the wing up.
People just
blows
like
the wing off.
People just like blowing this actor up.
Yeah, and it kind of crashes, but we don't see a big fireball or anything.
That's how I knew he wasn't dead. There was no explosion.
Is that how you knew, Jack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, "There's no explosion. He's not dead."
Yeah. Well, okay. Here's the thing. All right. So you see the crash, and then Mando comes down and lands his jetpack like a pro. Okay, even though he's not trained at all with it, I guess it just understands him.
Hey, he said he trained with it as a boy.
So at this point, he walks over to Kara and Apollo Creed, and we get a tiny little wrap up. Okay, that that really bothered me. All right, it's like it's like the last fucking scene, and I'm just like, well, okay, no one's gonna stop for a second and go, whew. That was some shit, wasn't it? No, it's just like, well, I guess, Carl Weathers says, well, I guess your rates just went up, baby. And Kara hands him back the baby, and she says, you know what? I'm going to stay here. So she's going ahead and telling us what she's going to do for the next. But
why?
Yeah. She's like, I'm going to stay here and help clean up, because they're like, well, there's no more stormtroopers. I guess we're safe now. And she's like, yeah, but I'm going to stay here and see if there's any more. So I'm going to fucking mop up this place, right? So, and Carl Weathers is like, hey, man, go off, take some rest and shit like that. And when you come back, we'll welcome you back in. And old Car here could stay, and she can become a bounty hunter too, and blah, blah.
Go to the coast.
Get together, have a few laughs. But Mando's like, no, I got more important shit to do. So he's going to take off with little Yodi, right? So Gina says, well, you take care of that little fucker. And Carl Weathers says, well, maybe he'll take care of you. And so Mando kicks on his little jetpack, and he flies away, I guess, to go to the Razor Crest, right? So we get a shot of him, and he buries Quill. Okay, so
R.I.P. Quill.
R.I.P. Quill. He ain't gonna speak no more. So he gets in the Razor Crest, and little Yodi's in his booster seat, and he's like, "Hey, what's that you got there?" And yet little Yodi's wearing the mythosaur skull around his neck, and he's like, "Wow, I never thought I'd see that again." And it cuts back to Yodi, and Yodi has this look like, "Are you gonna take it? Are you gonna take my necklace?" And he goes, "Why don't you hang on to that for a little while?"
And he goes back to chewing on it.
So they take off and they fly away. So then, as they fly away, it comes down to the crash site, okay?
Some Jawas.
Nobody bothered to walk over. Nobody was like, hey, let's go. I didn't see a fireball. Let's go check and see if that fucker's dead. Nope. They just, Kara and Apollo Creed walked back to town so she could find an apartment. And Mando said, fuck this, I'm out. And he took off, right? So the Jawas are over there trying to scrounge what they can off of the wreck, and we get this fucking sound, man, and Gideon cuts his way out of the fucking TIE fighter because he's got the fucking Darksaber. Okay.
Now, who's the last one who had?
Hang on a second. Hang on a fucking second. Now you finished Rebels.
I did.
Yes or no?
I did, but that's the only part I've seen was the end of Rebels.
What?
My buddies were watching it, and I'd come over, and they were
so
like,
what did you see? Like the last episode, or did you see like the last season?
I've seen like the last episode.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
really?
Fuck. Okay. So you've seen. How far are you now?
I did research the Darksaber though.
Shut up.
I'm still in season 3.
Okay.
Yeah, of 4 or 5.
So as
4 seasons.
far as I can tell, the last person to have the Darksaber is Katie Sackhoff, okay?
Mm-hmm.
She plays a character called Bo-Katan.
Mm-hmm.
So Sabine gives it to her in Rebels.
Yeah.
Have you seen that yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
I've read about it.
But
yeah.
Bo-Katan was in she was in Death Watch with Pre Vizsla and all that shit, right? Mm-hmm. Is she Satine's sister?
I don't think so, but I think that they were BFFs.
I was thinking
or
one of
something.
those. Well, I was thinking one of the women in Death Watch was Satine's sister. Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
So, and that's where it left off. Okay, she was the last one to have the Darksaber.
Mm-hmm.
So somehow Gideon got it from her. Okay, now.
Well, that had to have been during the Night of 1,000 Tears or whatever.
So it's interesting because I have no idea where my phone is. I just thought that because Katie Sackhoff tweeted about it the other day, and she was like, "I'm so stoked." It was something to the effect of, "You may not understand what this means right now, but you will later." So I'm like,
oh, I hope we're gonna get her in season 2.
Is she gonna show up and play Bo-Katan in real life? That would be bitching.
That would be cool. A Rebels tie-in,
or
Katie Sackhoff.
Well, it may be one of those things where you just see her in the armor and she never takes her helmet off either, but it's her voice.
It's just a way.
That might be what it is. Well, but
that'd still be cool.
But
though.
see, in Clone Wars and stuff, those Mandalorians could take their helmets off and shit. I think.
Yeah, on Wikipedia, her main picture is her without a helmet.
I think this new group, they started the no, don't take your helmet off thing. It's not a traditional Mandalore thing. On Wikipedia, does it say anything about her family or any character relatives or anything?
Not relatives, but it does say her home world is Mandalore.
We know. But I was thinking she might have been Satine's sister.
That is an odd. See, I don't think that Sabine is. I don't remember. I don't know if she's like a true Mandalorian anymore because in Rebels it talks about how she was an Imperial cadet for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
So, maybe she just kind of jumped on board or something, I mean, do the Mandalorians only take in little kids and train them from a young age, or can they take an adult who wants to convert and be part of the group? I mean, Yoda's 50.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's basically the episode, okay? So Gideon's still alive. He is going to be our bad guy in season 2. He may run back licking his wounds to whoever his boss is. We don't know. But it looks like Kara's going to stay on Dave Navarro world and I guess be a bounty hunter and make some money and shit and work for Apollo Creed. And Mando is going to take Lil Yodi somewhere. I guess he has to figure out where he's from and try to take him home.
That'd be cool if we get a planet of Yodas.
Well,
planet of the Yodas.
I figure he's either going to do that or just keep him as a sidekick.
Well,
well, she said you have to return him until he's of age.
No,
so I guess
she said either or. She said either you reunite him with his she said he's in your care until either he's reunited with his people or he comes of age. But then she also said he's too young to be trained, he'd die.
Right.
So I don't know.
But she did say you're a clan of 2.
Yeah.
So he's kind of official, a Mandalorian now.
See, I wonder if they're just going to keep the whole, like, Yoda species and homeworld a secret and just let him be a sidekick.
I mean, I don't know. He's got to find it first. See, that's okay. So I stopped myself from saying this before we got into it, but now that we're done, I can say it. So, do we think, or would it be plausible, since Gideon is still alive and still a bad guy and is going to want revenge on them, do we think that season 2 will have a decent time jump between them, or do you think it'll pick up kind of right where this left off?
I don't think it'll be right where this left off, but I don't think it'll be like years or anything.
Oh, really?
I think maybe a couple of months. You know?
I was wondering if we could get a little more grown-up Yoda in the next season.
You want it to be like Guardians 1 to Guardians 2, where he's like
teenage
Groot.
I just thought, okay, we've seen him as a baby. And with this whole thing about, okay, until he comes of age or until he's in your care, I thought it would be cool if there could be a little more interaction where he's actually teaching him and he can talk and he asks questions and blah, 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 to the point where maybe at the end of season 2 or maybe into season 3, he does find little Yoda's homeworld. And at that point, he has to make a choice. And so, you know, I mean, if little Yoda's, if he's still a baby and he can't really talk or anything, then, you know, he can just hand him off and be like, you know, it's going to be tough for me, but now he's home with his friend. But I think it would be better if, you know,
got an older Yoda and he was like,
if you get a Yoda who's kind of, you know, teenager-y or younger child who can talk and communicate, and Mando has started teaching him the certain things about the Mandalorian philosophy and shit, and since there's that whole caveat of he's in your care and until you find his homeworld, but what was it?
It's he's in your care until you reunite him with his people or he comes of age.
So I'm like, okay. So
but he's already like 50.
Look, I'm just saying, if, you know, if we got a little bit older Yoda who's expressing things and trying to figure out things about the world and why this is this way.
That would be awesome.
Mando's been teaching him philosophies and stuff.
And he's got his own armor.
And then he has to kind of make the choice where he's like, well, okay, you know, you're kind of age, and my mission was to reunite you with your people, and here you are. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, but I don't think I want that, you know, and that would be a better story of,
Do you think though Disney will let Jon Favreau just totally give up their new gold mine they've discovered that is Baby Yoda?
But wouldn't it be cool to have a Mandalorian Yoda?
But maybe young, sassy Mandalorian Baby Yoda would be even cooler.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, how much can you milk? Like, it's going to be a year before we get season 2, really.
They said fall.
Like
fall
minimum,
2020.
Okay, minimum 10 months, 9-10 months. And then you're going to get, another season of just a cute baby that just doesn't do anything?
They haven't even had time to let little babies dress up as Baby Yoda for Halloween.
They will. but what I'm saying is, though, I mean, it's cute and all, and everybody is super taken with it at the moment.
Oh, man.
But do you think they're going to just ride that for another season?
I don't think so.
I think it would be better if there's a little time jump and Yoda's at least talking and starting to get some knowledge from Mando.
I guess for me it would just feel like the movies. You know?
What do you mean?
Because then would they stick with a puppet, or would then they switch over to CGI?
Well, no. I'm just saying, like, especially mainly the prequels. Because in between every prequel movie, it's like, Anakin is now like 15 years older, and now he can do this, you know? And I don't know if I want that to happen to this story, where next season we just get, little Baby Yoda is now a little teenage Yoda, and he's like a master of the Force, and he's also knows how to jetpack.
He doesn't have to be a master of the Force.
I know.
He doesn't necessarily have to be a teenager either.
I think it'd be better to just explore his character as opposed to let's level him up and look at his stats. No. I'm like, okay, let's
eat the mushroom.
because like we've talked about before, he seems a little morally ambiguous. He's kind of cool with death and carnage. He thinks
chaotic,
it's fun.
neutral.
So you have to kind of have some character development there with him learning from Mando, and I don't know. I think that could be interesting, as opposed to let's just have a happy cooing puppet for another season,
another 8 episodes.
But okay, there is that whole thing of like Gideon's alive. He's gonna be the bad guy still, but we don't know his motivations, and we don't. Surely he's gonna try to find the kid still. Mm-hmm. Just because he got spanked once doesn't mean he's gonna give up, because maybe there's somebody above him. So I don't know that would allow for much of a time jump, unless they want to say that, Mando super duper went into hiding and no one's been able to find him. Yeah. He's just been hanging out on some planet teaching Yodi.
Do we know how many seasons there are going to be, or is it just open-ended at this point?
I've not heard any sort of plan. It's Disney. They don't have a fucking plan for anything these days. All right, I got to pee really bad. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
Okay.
So you guys were talking about how, like, the Baby Yoda thing is, like taking the world by storm. It was kind of like an eye-rolling moment. I'm away here. I saw a sign on 840 that was like,
yes,
Baby Yoda uses the Force and a car seat. And I was like, it's like one of those moments where you have a new song that you really like and your parents start listening to it, or you have a phrase that you use and your parents start to use it with you to seem like hip and cool.
I feel like that's just the Department of Transportation trying to be cool. I mean,
exactly.
For Christ's sake, for 2 months, all of our like interstate signs said, Cousin Eddie says Twitter's full. What the fuck, man?
Yeah, Dad and I saw that.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, there may be a young guy in there. And I'm like, either that or there's a really old guy trying to seem hip and get people's attention.
See, that's what I think it is.
Right.
It's like
Luke Skywalker says, eat your cereal and listen to your parents.
Right. It's like Will Smith's clean rap,
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Like, you know what Rey used to do before she, got abandoned on Jakku? Respect and love her parents.
And brush her teeth.
Yeah.
Good hygiene.
And brush her teeth.
Man.
Oh, man. What did you see? A sign up?
So on 840, there's the little signs, and instead of being like, oh, traffic ahead at exit bullshit, whatever, it says, Baby Yoda uses the Force and a car seat. And I was like, oh,
yeah,
God.
You and I saw that.
I don't remember seeing that.
It felt like Dad using like a song that I listened to. Or
ruining the illusion.
I can say Dad. They don't have to know that.
Jack has a father.
I have a father.
My dad.
Okay. It's like my dad coming home when he was a teacher, and he was like, hey, have you heard this song? And it was a song that we were all listening to. And I was like, oh, no, that song is ruined.
Intruding
for me.
on your childhood.
The boomers like it now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's how it felt. I was like, dude,
oh, you're in the middle of that whole thing. That's right. You're Gen X or something like that.
X or Y? I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're Gen X. Gen Y are the people born after 98 or something like that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I don't keep up with that bullshit. What?
What is everybody's letter grade?
Grades
for this episode.
Jack.
I give it a B+.
Wow. Okay.
Hard to impress here.
Fucking idiot.
Yeah. Jesus.
Just because I'm the only one who felt that way, but there was a lot of like
How do you know? We have
Plot convenience.
No, the
Oh yeah, plot convenience.
That's right.
Okay.
Because everybody was like, well, Gideon gave them until sundown. What the fuck? And I was like, plot convenience.
It's like, oh.
No, I don't want. See, that's why I was like, okay. Initially, I imagined he thought, because when he showed up and he kills Werner Herzog, he's like, it's going to be in my possession in a couple minutes, because he knew that the two guys were going out there to get him. And that's why he was like hanging on, because he was like, I'm going to have it in a second. But then
just a few more seconds.
But then a little time goes by and they get the E-Web and shit, and he's like, well, I'm going to give you till sundown. I'm like, okay, is he doing this now because he knows that the troopers don't have Yodi anymore, that IG took off with him, and now he's like, fuck, I better keep these sumbitches as insurance.
Yeah. Well,
but I didn't notice a point when he could have been informed where it's like, okay, or he was waiting for some confirmation, and since he didn't get it, he was like, well, I better keep these sumbitches alive. I don't know why he was giving them time. They didn't have anything he needed. He could have just killed them. So it didn't make a lot of sense to me why he was like, okay, I'll give you till sundown because you've got my detonators and I need them. It was like, what do they have that he needs? Why is he keeping them alive?
Well, maybe he did. Maybe, fuck, I don't know. Maybe he was just suspicious because if he didn't get a response from, those two troopers, then, of course he's going to be like, ah, shit, something's up. Maybe
that's
somebody.
What I'm saying.
So maybe
is
he's
it supposed to be implied that he was giving them time because, oh shit, I better cover my bases. I don't know. I was like, why didn't you just fucking kill him? What is that fucking noise?
That's what I'm saying. I hear some like tapping too.
Go back to playing with the cord like you were. No, I think. No, I don't.
Anyway, Andrew, what's your letter grade?
Yeah, what's your letter grade?
A.
I think I'm gonna give it A. What do you get?
I'm gonna give it an A minus.
Okay. What's
Why?
the minus for?
Well,
Plot convenience?
No, it was like.
The Force. It penetrates us. It binds us. How fucking convenient.
It's like duct tape. It has a light side and a dark side.
Well, it's like it was like you said. If he knew the people were on their way with the baby, why the fuck did he wait? Or like, who the hell is this guy doing this? But everything else seemed to flow well.
I tell you what, man, this episode looked expensive.
Hell yeah, it did.
It looked really expensive.
Especially that Darksaber. Holy hell, that looked good.
Damn,
That's a lot of compositing right there.
There's some money on this one. But
Tracked it frame by frame.
that was good, man.
That's how I did my lightsaber because we had to do a project for that in school. I like keyframed. I like zoomed in so far and I was like keyframing all the way across. That shit took forever to do.
Be nice if we could see that at some point, but
I'd like to see it too.
Did you finish the music video? Did you bring the laptop so we could see a rough cut?
I didn't.
No, it is done. It's done. So there's a finished product, and we still don't even get to see anything. Wow. All right then. Pixar didn't happen, bitch.
All right. Best kill of the episode.
Ooh, I really liked when IG smashed
Jason
that guy's head into the fucking speeder bike.
Yeah,
that was pretty
great.
Cool. Let's see. I thought it was pretty cool that the armorer chick was swinging a big ass hammer and smashing dudes' faces in.
My favorite was dude that just fucking
Melted.
got yeeted into the fucking incinerator.
My favorite, even though the smelter was cool, she turns around and hits one of them, and you see
And
like
you see the
you see
helmet.
his jaw come off, and it's like
smashing dudes in the face.
Damn, it's so real.
It was cool, man. I was like, damn.
I hope she comes back and becomes part of the
that's
New
what I'm
Republic
saying.
Avengers.
She's alive.
That would be awesome.
No, I don't think she'll be part of the New Republic Avengers, but she might be part of Mando's new clan or whatever to rebuild the Mandalorian hideout.
I don't know. I guess she would want to go off and find out if
anyone survives.
anybody survived. I mean, they got to have like a backup.
Yeah, sure.
Look, if everything goes to shit, we all meet at the
rendezvous point.
the space shonies on Tatooine or something. We all got to meet somewhere else on another shitty planet.
Certain booth and this certain
Right.
cantina.
Right, at 2:00 on a Tuesday. Order the soup.
Road trip 2 a.m.
Yeah. So all in all, man, it was a good season, good series one. I look back to it and I think, okay, they're gonna have a TV show about a Mandalorian dude. Oh, and he's gonna be a bounty hunter. Oh, okay. And I thought, where could they really go with that? But man, the fucking whole Baby Yoda thing just superseded anything previous. I was just like, oh fuck. Now we're all just. I guess that's kind of like the whole thing with Kevin Smith talking to Favreau, like, dude, who came up with that? That's just, oh my God. It's, yeah, I did,
motherfucker.
I mean, at first I was like, okay, so this guy's going to be a bounty hunter and he's a Mandalorian. All right, I guess he's going to get up to space adventures, but there's got to be some kind of thing. Maybe, he'll meet other characters and then that'll be the, but nope. It just, man, once that baby popped up, it was like, boom, this is the entire show. So, yeah, never saw that coming.
Could we give the entire season 1 a letter grade at the moment? like an average.
I mean, yeah, I'd give it an A just because it completely did.
Oh, would you, Jack? You wouldn't give it a B+?
No.
Plot convenience.
Whole season had plot convenience.
It just, I mean, it's above and beyond what I expected, I guess. It surprised me to where, you know, I was invested and following this story that I never would have fucking thought, oh, it's going to be about a baby Yoda. And that was probably the last thing I would have ever thought. But, man, he took us all for a ride. And, yeah, I was kind of like, that's pretty cool.
Man, this episode really just, like, makes you realize how attached you are to little baby Yoda when he gets... Like, when he got punched, I was like, whoa!
Yeah.
What the hell?
Fuck you, Jason Sudeikis.
It was funny because I saw this meme on Twitter, I guess. And it was a picture of the last episode when, when they showed up and they had the little metal egg that Quill built. And Werner Herzog's like, I would like to see the baby now.
The baby.
Yeah.
Baby.
He's sleeping. We'll all be very quiet. So the meme is his face in that moment, and it says, all of us 2 minutes into the next Mandalorian episode, I would like to see the baby. Yeah. It's like, where's Baby Yoda? We want to see him.
Don't you think we should offer that thing some food or something?
Yeah.
You just want to see the baby.
You just want to see the baby. Well, it's been a while since it made any noise. I just want to know if it's still alive. I mean, damn.
It's not like it's going to bite my finger or anything.
Yeah.
Yoda is in the teething phase. Oh, no.
No, I'm sad, man. What am I going to do now?
Yeah, what are we going to do for a podcast now?
Now I got to wait a fucking year to see what's going on? That's bullshit. Okay, do we think it's going to be 8 episodes next time? Or you think maybe they'll say, well, let's give them 10. Let's give them more. I mean...
It would have to be more.
Look, this was their flagship, okay? Now, sure, they did a couple of Christmas movies and bullshit when Disney Plus, boom, launched. But the big thing was The Mandalorian, okay? Mm-hmm. And they were hyping us, and they said, you can watch it as soon as it launches on this day. And so, boom, it came out, and everybody's been following it and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the first thing, and it was their launch platform. So do you think maybe experiment-wise they were like, okay, we'll do a season, we'll do 8 episodes, and we'll run it up the flagpole, and we'll see who salutes it. Well, now that everybody thinks it's great...
It's because Baby Yoda. I don't think if they had the Baby Yoda character, it wouldn't have been as popular.
Now they'll be like, okay, we'll just give them 8 more? Or do you think they'll be like, okay, cool, this works. Let's do 10, or
I was gonna say
let's do 12.
I wouldn't say more than 10.
Really, man?
Really?
No, give them a 24-episode season.
I mean, they're 40. If they were 30-minute episodes, I'd say 12. But they're like 40, 45.
No. Okay, what was it? Oh shit. Okay, all the Marvel Netflix shows were 13, weren't they?
Yes.
That was clearly too much, but they never changed, did they? They always kept them 13.
Right.
Or did the Punisher go to 10?
No, they kept it
13. So, or was it Stranger Things?
Stranger Things dropped.
Was it
Stranger
8?
Things was like 10 or 8 episodes for the last season.
And then the second or the third was longer. I want to say that there's one of these streaming series where it came out and it was there's a few episodes, and then the second time they did it a little bigger with more episodes.
Maybe I want to say one of them.
I want to say one of them got longer, and I was like, okay.
I would consider Stranger Things like one of the first big original streaming show. Mm-hmm. And so it would only make sense that they were like, okay, let's test the waters.
But like I said, they were like, like you just said, let's test, let's see, we'll do 8. And then when it's a big hit, it's like, okay, now we'll go big on the second one. So Disney launched their thing. They had this thing in their pocket. They said, here it is. And do you think now that it's a success, they would go a little bigger?
So with Stranger Things, the first and the last season are 8 episodes, and then season 2 is 9 episodes.
Okay, so there was an extra one.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I would say no more than 10 episodes if they increase it.
Man, I'd like more.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah, I was thinking 10 to 15 episodes.
One thing's for sure, a lot of people are about to cancel their monthly Disney Plus subscription
You think
until.
so?
I think so.
See, man, that seems like such a mistake because
You can only watch The Lion King so many times.
Because they should
Yeah,
have.
you can watch Frozen all you want, man.
Look, they should have all that Marvel shit that they're working on. They should have something ready to go. Cock,
Well,
lock,
when
and
do
ready
we
to go
get-
next week.
What's
you know?
what's the next? Like, do we get a
Winter-
Marvel show next?
We get Winter Soldier Falcon, which is supposedly in production, and it's supposed to come out like right around May.
May, so it's
May? I
We're
thought
waiting
you
till
said something
May.
was supposed to come out February.
See, I thought
So
April.
we get Solo February.
Yeah, that's just because the rights change. Nobody
Right.
cares though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
there's,
yeah, they've been moving around
there's
Falcon Winter Soldier.
there's
for a
nothing
good
original
time.
coming out, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They should have had
It's like-
something ready to go.
So why would anyone want to pay $8 a month for shit that they mostly have on like DVD or Blu-ray? You know?
Mm.
That is true. I feel like they did wait a while, so everybody was like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy it because there's not gonna be a streaming service
What? What are you talking about?
No?
with all the movies and shit from Marvel and in like all the Star Wars and all the Marvel movies. They've been out for so long that people were like, "Well, I'm gonna buy it when it comes out." So a lot of people have that. So why would they pay for the streaming service if they have it on DVD?
Well, I mean, for the new shit like the Mandalorian and all that.
When's Clone Wars that next season coming?
See,
out?
that's what I was curious too. I don't know if that's gonna be before Mandalorian season
Give me a
2.
gold one. I mean, somebody who has a phone, try to ask Jeeves. Hey, when is the next season of Clone Wars coming around?
Iron Fist. The first season of Iron Fist had 13. Then the second season only had 10.
That's because it was awful.
Yeah.
Well, okay. See, I knew something changed. Now, actually, I heard that season 2 wasn't as bad.
I didn't watch the Iron Fist. I didn't really watch any of
I
the
suffered
Marvel,
through
Marvel
the
shows.
entire season 1.
I'm sorry.
Did you watch
What?
Jessica Jones?
I
Yeah.
like Jessica Jones.
I wasn't all in on season 3. I watched season 1 and I watched season 2, but I wasn't in on what? What?
You're
bro?
about to say what I just looked up.
What?
As revealed during D23 2019, Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 7 will arrive on Disney Plus in February 2020.
Oh shit!
February. Okay.
That's close.
Nice.
So less than 2 months we'll get.
Now-
So we're gonna just do Clone Wars
Is
for
it-
our next podcast?
Is it going to be a weekly thing? Or...
Are they just gonna bum rush us with the whole season?
Right.
I don't know. Somebody needs to read.
Because there's a teaser trailer, which I showed you, and then you're like, nah, whatever. And you
I
threw
haven't
it out of
seen
your
this-
long-term
This
memory.
teaser.
You haven't.
So, okay. We'll get Clone Wars. Hey, nobody needs to be watching videos.
I know, I'm
while
just
we're
showing him
recording.
where he can
Just-
find it.
Just send me that link.
So,
I'm trying to find out if there's like a list of how many episodes.
Now is Rebels?
or-
Are they still making new episodes of Rebels?
No.
No,
I'm
is that
under
done?
the impression that
It's
that's
done.
4 seasons and done
12 episodes
of
of
Clone Wars.
the seventh, right?
Yeah.
Season of Clone Wars.
And this
Because
is just to tie it all off, right?
Because the 6th season it wasn't really a season. It was
It
just
was
some
short.
extra shit
It was
that
like-
they released because they had it in the can.
Right.
It didn't really have a storyline or anything. So I think technically this is season 7, but the actual storyline was season 5 ended. Uh-oh.
Dave Filoni has said Clone Wars will feature Darth Maul and Ahsoka Tano returning in a conflict known as the Siege of Mandalore.
Oh, shit.
So this could
But this
tie
is-
into Mandalorian.
No, well, maybe, but this is pre Revenge of the Sith, which would mean
But
that
see,
it's pre the Night of a Thousand Tears. So I don't know if anything would be
when I looked
relevant.
it up, it did say Darth Vader was a character though
In what?
in Clone Wars.
No. Well, I mean, Anakin saw Darth Vader in like a little Force vision.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't
Yeah.
watched Clone Wars all the way through either.
He's definitely a character in Rebels.
Damn, Jack.
Well, I know he's a character in Rebels because he kills Ahsoka. I saw that episode.
No, he does not.
He does not.
Oh wait, are you talking about Darth Maul or Darth Vader?
Vader.
Oh, sorry.
Vader kills. Well, pseudo kills her, and then I saw the episode where they bring her back.
No,
Time
thanks.
travel.
It's not. It's kind of time travel, but
Yeah, you can time travel with the Force now too.
Yeah. Thanks, Disney.
Fuck all that time
well, see,
travel
the
shit.
way I kind of saw it was like in Harry Potter, how Harry kind of saves himself with the Patronus,
Yeah.
That's the way I kind of was like, that's kind of like that, because he's able to go and save her, but she doesn't know until she comes through the little portal that they saved her. It's weird. You have to watch it.
I'll have to watch it for myself, I guess.
What, Rebels?
Yeah.
Oh, I recommend it. It's
I
cool.
just finished the first episode.
It gets better.
I sure as hell hope so.
Damn.
I mean,
That's a scathing indictment of the first episode of Rebels for you.
Yeah, I liked it just because it gives a little more like, but just like I don't know if I want to say history or just insight into like Jedi rituals and
I just
stuff
kind of
like that.
I just kind of hate Ezra, even from that first episode. I'm like,
It's a Disney show.
I
mean, you've got
It
got
was
to.
on Disney XD.
Yeah, it's like you can't go in with like these incredible like expectations. Like I went in just with like an open mind, like, okay, I'm gonna see, and I was like, well, it's not Clone Wars, but it's an interesting story. So
See, I don't think I ever watched it because I don't have cable in my room. So before it was on a streaming service, I was like, oh. But now it's on a streaming service.
Why is everybody staring at me?
what's our next move here?
Yeah.
Well,
what is that?
All right.
Do we get any tweets or anything?
We
got a recommendation for a new series to watch.
Did we?
Oh, well, okay, so I put out on Twitter, I was like, what do you guys want us to do? And your boy said we should probably do The Boys on Amazon. Now, I've seen it. You've seen it. Have you guys seen The Boys?
Not yet.
I'd have to rewatch it, but hell yeah, it's so
dude,
fucking
that
good.
show is badass.
I've heard really good things about it.
It is awesome.
It's pretty good, and we get season
I hear
2.
that fucking tapping, and I'm like, what the fuck is that tapping?
JT's
Right
really
there.
into
What
it.
is that?
It's Andrew.
What?
It's every time his motor starts running, I hear it. Do you have something in your pockets?
Okay.
My motor's running right now.
Do you guys hear that?
Yeah, the tick 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 tick.
I think you have something on the outside of the house.
Yeah, I think that's some squirrel action. I'm gonna have to go out and kill some motherfuckers.
Oh shit!
Kill
Get the
another
baby.
one.
Get the Red Rider.
Okay, so
Pulse rifle.
so look, first and foremost, we said we wanted to do something about Rise of Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
When the hell would we do that?
Tuesday?
Why? What's Tuesday?
I mean, I have to. Oh, no,
That's New
shit.
Year's Eve.
I have to work. Never mind. I mean, I normally have Tuesdays off, but I know I have to work New Year's Eve this year.
Okay.
I might have the 1st off since I'm gonna be working on the 31st. Because Tuesdays are normally my day
What do you
off.
think, Andrew? What's your thing look like?
I was gonna say I'm free in the evenings next week.
Okay.
My little sister wants to stay till the 3rd.
So
So, I mean, yeah, I don't think she would mind.
well, it's just too bad if she does.
It's like
Sit over there and be quiet for
his
2 hours.
house.
I mean, yeah. Still.
What are your evenings like?
It depends if I work or not. If I work, it'll be
Alright.
like 4.
When do you find out when the fuck you work? How do you not know when you work?
Schedule comes out either today or tomorrow for next
Well,
week.
then keep us surprised, and
Yeah.
we'll try to figure something. So we'll try to see. I need to see it again.
Yeah.
How many times have you seen it?
I've seen it twice. Andrew's seen it 3 times.
Okay, so we're still on 1, so we need to see it again, and then I guess we could talk about it.
Talk about it.
But as far as a regular thing, would we want to cover the other movies? Would we want to try to jump on a different series? What do you want to do? It's all about how devoted anybody thinks they could be. As far as
I'm down.
I'm down to get together every week and record one.
I feel like I'm really into like the Star Wars stuff because it's something I
Yeah.
really enjoy.
Right.
I feel like if we did The Witcher, it'd be kind of weird because, like, nobody's played the games or read the books, right?
Right.
Right.
So
well, we didn't know anything about Mandalorian either, and that's why the anticipation was there, and it was fun to speculate, and we could,
yeah, but it's still that Star Wars universe where you kind of have some understanding. You're like, oh fuck yeah, Star Wars. But with The Witcher, I'm kind of like,
right.
Okay.
It's fun to be in the pool when you can't swim, as long as you can hold onto the edge. But every now and again, you just gotta go out into the water. I mean, you just go out into the water and you watch The Witcher, and you go, what the fuck is happening? And it's a little easier to digest if you got 4 other people and they're all like, what the fuck is happening? I know, right? Maybe you picked him on something he didn't, and maybe he figured out the thing that you didn't know, and it's, you all can just experience it together.
would you want to do a TV show or movies?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the question I'm posing. Andrew thinks it's safe to stay with Star Wars. Do you guys just want to assign a movie and talk about a movie? Do you
kind of like that.
I mean, all of our social media is called RazorCrestPitCrew.
Right.
And,
so we can do whatever we want. It's just we're all about the Mandalorian and shit.
I'd be down to like pick a movie and then come back and talk about it.
Like what? Okay, after Rise of Skywalker, then what?
Well,
By the time we get together to do the Rise of Skywalker 1, we need to have an idea of the next one.
Well, okay, we could do Clone Wars when they release that in February, but I mean that's still February. But it depends on how they're going to release it. If they're going to release it all like mass,
Don't know.
Well,
if it's 12 episodes, they'd probably ride that out, do 12 weeks.
because that'll get them closer to the Mandalorian. They won't have to fill as much.
The Mandalorian's not going to come out until fucking September or October at the soonest, man. That's a long way to go.
Has he written every episode? Or has he written the entire season 2?
Johnny Fabs?
Johnny Fabs is credited as the writer on I'm pretty sure every episode.
But like, is it?
But I
is
think
it
He's
finished?
asking about pre-production for season 2. If they're
Season
like,
2?
Yeah.
I know they've been working, like filming it, so I'm assuming it's all written.
Okay.
So, yeah, man.
if we do Star Wars movies, do we want to do them in chronological order, release order?
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. We need to figure out by the next time. Here, you guys discuss that.
he's gonna go get the gun and shoot that squirrel.
He already killed one.
I would definitely be down to do like the Star Wars, but I also think it'd be cool to kind of like branch out. Like, have you guys seen 6 Underground on Netflix?
No,
With Ryan Reynolds?
not yet.
That movie is so good. Like, Netflix definitely to me, that's Netflix stepping up their game, because that movie is great. There's so many twists and turns. You're like, what the fuck? You know?
Mm-hmm.
I was really hoping Scott would mention JT because he tweeted at the group. I was like, did you get any tweets? I was like, damn. Shout out JT because Scott's not here to be like, shout out JT. So I'll do it for him.
So, I'm thinking we should do them in release order.
If we do all of them, yeah. Although we could do it in chronological order. That would be kind of cool to like take a look at it in chronological order, because then you can look at character developments and all that.
Right.
Because I feel like if you flow through it all the way, then some things make sense. Like I was talking to JT about Empire and Return of the Jedi, and he was like, yeah, it's still Luke that brought balance, or it's still Anakin that brought balance to the Force, because he's the one who, quote unquote, killed Palpatine at the end of 6 to protect his son. It was his character change from being like, fuck you if you're not going to join me, to being like, oh shit, that's my kid, I got to fucking save his ass. You know?
Right.
So I feel like that'd be a cool little thing we could do if we do it in chronological order. Chronological order, God.
The Star Wars movies?
Yeah.
In chronological order?
Yeah.
Starting with Phantom Menace?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? Just because you want to try to simulate the experience of watching Anakin go bad?
Well, and you kind of see his like you see him go bad, and then you also get his redemption in Return of the Jedi.
I don't know.
But it would kind of be throw a monkey in the wrench, because you two already did Rogue One.
Throw a monkey in the wrench?
All of us.
Oh, the 3 you were on Rogue One?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh snap! I thought it was just you guys.
No.
Oh.
Founding member.
Somebody who
didn't listen.
Who had listened to this shit before would know that. But I bet your boy knows who was in the Rogue One
I bet your boy knows
episode.
too.
Damn. So anyway, JT probably knows too because he listens. Man,
he told me he was like, "Yeah, dude, I just listened to it at work."
You're gonna go back and listen to this podcast, but while you were outside, Jack was totally like, "Man, I was kind of hoping that when I mentioned Twitter, Scott would give a shout out to JT."
I just did. I just said something about JT. I don't exist to please JT.
No.
I'll mention him. Don't worry about it. So Rise of Skywalker at some point next week.
Yes.
You're good in the evenings. You should be good. I'm good in the evenings. It's really just down to Jack. Once he finds out his schedule at some point, you should let us know where your windows of opportunity are so that we can.
I'll have 2 days off for sure.
Plan one.
I know I'm working Monday and Tuesday.
Right.
So theoretically, my 2 day, because they won't give me the weekend off, because fuck that. You can't have a fun weekend. It'll be probably Wednesday, Thursday are gonna be my 2 days off.
Okay. Well, when we know for sure, we'll figure it out, and then we'll record something about the Rise of Skywalker. You know, with the whole Star Wars discussion, I don't even know if I want to bring this up yet. I may bring it up then. Yeah, don't worry about it. It gets kind of relevant to the whole, do we start at Phantom Menace and go through, or do we do original trilogy and then prequels and then new one, or how would we do it? So anyway, we'll figure that out later. So really, I guess, man, this is sayonara to The Mandalorian for
a year.
For season 1 is wrapped, and now we have nothing. Nothing. We're alone. Nothing.
We're alone in the galaxy.
Now, we had kind of, or I definitely kind of shit on the Marvel thing an episode or two ago, the idea of it. But do we want to maybe consider doing some of these fucking Marvel Disney Plus things?
If they ever come out, maybe.
I mean,
I would definitely love to do that.
What? So Winter Soldier's first?
Supposedly.
And then what else? There's the Winter Soldier.
WandaVision, Hawkeye.
WandaVision, what the and a Hawkeye? Oh, God. I don't know that I'm down for that.
See, I'm really hoping that the Hawkeye show covers Budapest, though, because I don't think the movie of Black Widow is going to cover Budapest.
There is a synopsis about the Hawkeye series.
Oh, yeah? What does it say?
Supposedly.
Buckle up for boredom! No.
And supposedly, of course, it's this one's going to take place after Endgame.
Okay.
And Hawkeye's going to be doing his own thing, but then he finds like someone else, like an apprentice, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to give up the Hawkeye moniker and train you, little girl."
That his daughter?
No,
I thought he trained his daughter.
Yeah, because in Endgame at the beginning, he's like.
But I mean, in the
Good
comics,
shot, Hawkeye.
doesn't he train his daughter?
but supposedly this is going to be a new
she takes
person.
over as Hawkeye, and then he's just
chilling.
Could be,
or he's Ronin.
I thought he was Ronin now.
Yeah, but I could have swore he trained somebody to be a new Hawkeye.
It could be his daughter, but it said a young girl takes up the bow and arrow.
Yeah, it's probably his daughter.
I don't know.
But yeah,
wow, so they've had that.
Jeremy Renner is supposedly just going to be in the first season, and then it's going to follow this girl.
Huh.
Supposedly.
Thanks for nothing, Jeremy Renner. Well, bye. Damn.
He could have pulled an Oscar Isaacs.
And said, "Fuck this shit, I'm out."
Would you ever be Poe Dameron again? Fuck no.
Nope.
Screw you guys.
I'm getting him.
He is not happy with that corporation, is he?
No.
Mark Hamill was pissed after 8. Mark Hamill was like.
I don't know that Mark Hamill was pissed at Disney.
He was pissed at Rian Johnson.
Mark Hamill was pissed with Rian Johnson's decisions about where Luke goes and what direction he takes. Oscar Isaac, I think, is like anti-Disney now. He thinks they're a bunch of weenie wussy.
They jerked my character around so much. And
Poe did have like the most flip-flopping character.
He did.
Well, I think to an extent all of them kind of did, because The Last Jedi was just such like a pot stirrer, you know? I wonder how many of the actors actually like feel like, man, I didn't really get a chance to.
Who would we lay this blame on? Kathleen Kennedy?
Ryan.
I think it's a shared blame.
Right.
I mean, she ultimately... I mean, you can bitch at Ryan for what he did with the movie he was allowed to helm.
Didn't he write it, though?
Yes, but shouldn't Kathleen Kennedy maybe have said, hey, wait a second, do we have a plan?
She's like the director of...
She's like the head of Lucasfilm.
Okay.
So it's like, should maybe she not have said, I don't think we should go into a dedicated trilogy
without one person behind the helm?
Maybe an overarching theme? I mean, you could have different directors and you could even have different writers, but as long as they know that they have to hit these bullet points because we want to start here and we want to end here because this is what we have in store for this trilogy. But they didn't even have that. It
was all over the place.
JJ came in and did a job on the first one and in JJ fashion set up a whole lot of things that he gave you a nibble of and made you want to know. And then for some fucking reason, they got Rian Johnson to come in on the second one, and they let him just do whatever the fuck he wanted. There was no, hey, so JJ set this shit up for us, so don't go fucking this or this up. Don't break that, and don't break that. You see that? Don't touch that. That's for later. But no, she was, I guess she was just like, nope. Free reign, go ahead, do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, I feel like after the last...
I really liked Looper, so go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like after the
really
Last Jedi, they were all like JJ and everybody was just sitting like at the writers' table, like, well, let's bring back the Emperor. Fuck it.
After The Last Jedi, it was Colin Trevorrow sitting in a room with a bunch of people and starting production and all this bullshit for months and months and months. Yeah. And then they canned his ass, and then JJ came in, and the clock was at like 5 to midnight, and they were like, do something.
Fucking Emperor.
So
done.
I mean, with the limited time frame and being painted into a corner, I mean, he did a pretty good job, you gotta admit. It's just, man, if they had just had a fucking plan.
Yeah.
Just have a plan. If you know you're going to make a trilogy of films and they're supposed to be related, have a plan.
Kathleen Kennedy is like gotta have some kind of like thing for Rian Johnson because he's still getting his own trilogy.
Is he really?
Yeah.
With the kid at the end of 8?
And my God.
No. I don't know.
We don't know what it's going to be.
We don't know when his saga is going to be set. What time frame it's supposed to talk about.
I hope he doesn't get a saga.
We don't. Yeah. I mean, he's getting a trilogy. But we don't know what that's supposed to cover. We don't know when it's supposed to be. What it's supposed to be about.
George Lucas did a cool thing with the trilogy. But do we have to get a trilogy every fucking time now?
Well, didn't you say?
Well, I read an article that said Rise of Skywalker was going to end the trilogy format, like as a standard. If you want to do a trilogy, sure, but if you want to tell a longer story, go for it.
So I don't know if that means no more interconnected movies, or if it just means look, we don't have to necessarily do 3 in a row that tie together.
Right.
I mean, maybe you could do one. Maybe they. You know what would be great? What would be amazing is if they restructure Star Wars and do it like they did Marvel, where you have a movie and it introduces a character, and then you have another movie that introduces a character. And then maybe at some point you do a movie where those two characters can run into each other, and then you get some more. And I mean, it's a fucking galaxy far, far away. It's a big fucking place. We could have a lot of shit going on at one time in this world that we all understand. We all know the rules. We know what the fucking parameters are. So you could just do shit in that setting. Over here, over there, with different characters. Maybe they all start to come together. Maybe they overarch. Maybe there's one character that bounces between our good characters in these series. Mm-hmm. Maybe they have a common bad guy. There's a lot there's a lot you could do, but You
Kathleen
gotta have
Kennedy
a
doesn't have a
fucking
fucking
plan.
plan.
You gotta have a plan.
See, I think that it'd be cool to do like Knights of the Old Republic movies because they haven't really touched that in cinema. It's only been games and books.
Well, that's fine, but
And I know nothing.
have a
about
plan.
That, but
Is
that
any of
would
that
be
stuff
cool.
canon?
I think because it's games, it's canon. Aren't all the games canon?
Well, this newest Old Republic game is.
I don't know. Is the Force Unleashed canon?
No.
Did Vader have an apprentice? I mean,
No.
Force Unleashed was such a good game, though. At least the
Yeah.
first one.
so I
Hey,
mean,
they were both good.
so I mean, what's
They were good.
is that?
First one was
All,
better than the
is
second
all
one.
that Knights of the Old Republic stuff? Is that canon? Darth Revan and all these Darth Bane and whoever the hell all these old guys were. I mean, is any of that canon? We
I
don't
don't
know. So I mean, would they even bother?
They could make it canon.
Because it seems like, I mean, who wrote that shit? Is that all like expanded universe kind of writers and stuff?
I think so. I don't
So-
think it's like anybody from Lucasfilms.
So I don't know that they would want to dump money on that. If they would want to be like, you know, but I mean, if it's all there, sure. I mean, there's a plan, you know, you could just execute it and probably make money off of it. But I don't know if they're going to do new stuff and that whole, this ends the trilogy format thing means that they're not, I mean, I hope it doesn't mean they're not doing interconnected stuff because I don't know that you could really be successful with just one-off films. You know, people want continuation nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like.
Yeah.
Although
I like
Rogue
it.
One was a great standalone movie.
But you knew where it was going. You knew what
Sure.
came before it, and you knew what was
came-
coming right after it.
I like that idea of introducing a character, then another character, and then the third one,
Yeah,
bring them
man.
together.
Well,
See, I feel like Johnny Fabs just needs to be in charge of Lucasfilms.
Yes. That would be great, but do you think Kathleen Kennedy would give up her?
well, but she's like the executive in charge and shit. They need a Kevin Feige, is what they need.
a showrunner.
If they're gonna, I mean, like they've closed off the Skywalker saga, we've plugged a lot of holes, you know. So now it's like we need to move forward, and I think they clear this whole latest Rey trilogy has shown that they need a plan, and they should learn from their sister company Marvel. You need somebody over it. Now that's why I was saying, okay, Kathleen Kennedy's the boss. She's over Lucasfilm. Do we blame her? But is she more of just an executive and not a creative director kind of person? They need a Kevin Feige. So, who do you get? Johnny Fabs, maybe?
J.J. Abrams?
Dave Filoni? No, JJ's not going to be tied down by anything. That's why he didn't do fucking Last Jedi. That's why he left Star Wars. He wanted to do something else.
What did he did?
I have no idea what he did, but
He didn't direct Star Trek Beyond, did he?
no. That was Justin Lin, or did Justin Lin do the second one?
Justin Lin did
Who did the-
Beyond.
Justin Lin did Beyond?
I thought he did Into Darkness.
I don't know. I love those movies, but I don't know.
Movies.
So anyway, they need a Kevin Feige.
They do indeed. Shout out Johnny Fabs.
Um,
You should take that job, bro.
You should
Well-
ask for that job.
Supposedly, he didn't direct anything between Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker.
Who?
JJ. He didn't direct.
What's he been producing then?
Yeah, Bad Robot probably produced a bunch of shit. That's his production company.
Yeah. If it would give me some dates here, that'd be great. That'd be really fucking great. Because I'm looking at his producer credits
man.
and there's like,
Oh man. Good thing you don't have a production meeting going on today, Nate.
Did somebody have Mexican last night?
Okay, here we go. So he produced Fallout. He produced a movie called The Wrong Mans in 2019. It's a TV movie, and then he did Rise of Skywalker.
And then he did a new season of Alias. Throwback. Nobody get it. J.J. Abrams directed. He actually directed. Did he direct a season or was it just a couple episodes? Come on, man. You used to be in love with Jennifer Garner. Slacking.
What did you do? Grenade!
Okay, so look, I'm sensing a lot of dead air. People are looking at their phones. Shit's going on. So let's just wrap up. Mandalorian's done. We're anticipating the next. You need to take that work call?
Probably.
Go ahead. So we're
Bye.
Bye, Andrew. We're wrapping up the Mandalorian season 1. It's all done. We can't wait for the next one. We will figure out what we're gonna do, but in the next couple days we're gonna record a Rise of Skywalker episode. So in that episode, we may have more of an answer of what we're gonna do going forward. So until then,
I would just like to point out Andrew took a phone call in the most echoey point. Well, we can still hear him.
That's all right. So anyway,
thank you all for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
You can hit us up on Twitter at RCPitCrew or at RazorCrestPitCrew@gmail.com. So have fun and
May the force be with you.
Happy New Year.
See you guys later. Bye. Hello. Okay.
Red lights are on.
That just means the channels are active.
Oh.
You have to wait for that red light to come on.
Well, there are 2 banthas out there.
Well, there are 4 red lights on there, but I don't see any. Wait a second. He pushed record. I can see the light now. So I'm back to doing the intro.
I mean, who do you want to do it?
I don't care. I'll do it. I just don't feel it. The push. I don't know. Maybe I'm sad because it's over. I don't know.
Yeah, what are we gonna do now?
No, well,
Clone
we'll
Wars.
figure that out.
Okay,
We'll
okay.
figure that out. We'll figure that out. Okay, so welcome back to no, hang on.
We'll fix it in post.
It'll get chopped out.
Each one of us should say one word of it.
No, we're not doing that silly shit.
No.
Okay.